On September 12, 2025, astronomers detected something that shattered every expectation they had about how the universe behaves. A colossal object was blazing in from the darkness of deep space, with a tail stretching across the sky 5 times the width of a full moon, so enormous that even amateur astronomers with backyard telescopes could see it. Within hours, it was confirmed that this was no ordinary comet. It was something far larger, far brighter, and far stranger than anything we had ever recorded. Officially catalogued as C2025R2, the object is now simply called SWAN. But the timing is what truly froze scientists in disbelief, because another object, the already infamous 3IR Atlas, was also inbound, racing toward the sun from the exact opposite direction of the sky. Both were set to reach their closest approach to the sun within the same 10-day window. Both were hidden by the solar glare during their most critical moment, and both were displaying anomalies that seemed to defy the laws of nature. The odds of such a cosmic double entry happening by chance were described as so vanishingly small that some scientists stopped calling it a coincidence and began whispering the word mission. If one interstellar object was strange enough, then the arrival of a second, potentially 100 times larger, targeting the same solar corridor suggested that we might not be witnessing accidents of astronomy at all. We might be watching an operation. As data poured in, what first stood out about SWAN wasn't just its size, but its behavior. Unlike typical comets, which scatter light in predictable patterns, SWAN's reflective properties appeared to show metallic signatures, including hints of nickel and cobalt, the same materials humans used to forge durable alloys and protect against corrosion. Some researchers began calling it the Fortress. While most comets break apart under the stress of the sun, this one seemed shielded, almost armored, maintaining a brightness curve far beyond what natural ice and dust could explain. And its tail, already record-breaking in length, did not behave like chaotic vapor. Instead, it appeared to pulse with subtle rhythmic changes, almost as if controlled microthrusts were guiding its motion. Imagine watching a skyscraper-sized tank drift through space, cloaked in a shimmering halo that might not simply be gas, but an electromagnetic shield deflecting the fury of solar winds. That is the image scientists are now grappling with. But even more unsettling than its scale was its timing. While SWAN loomed like a fortress, its smaller counterpart, 3IR Atlas, behaved more like a drone, agile, erratic, with strange bursts of acceleration and shifts in tail color that no natural process could fully explain. Together, they didn't look like random visitors. They looked like pieces of the same puzzle, 2 parts of a system converging on the sun at the same time, hidden from us during the very days when their true purpose might be revealed. When astronomers plotted the arrival vectors of SWAN and Atlas on a star map, something extraordinary appeared. SWAN came from Aquarius, while Atlas came from Sagittarius, 2 origins separated by more than a quarter of the entire celestial sphere. Yet, despite their radically different approach angles, they both crossed into the inner solar system at nearly the same solar distance, reaching perihelion within just 3 days of each other. Statistically, this kind of synchrony was portrayed as impossible. Random comets scatter their arrivals across decades, sometimes centuries, but never like this. And then came the blackout. From October 8th to October 18th, the sun's glare blinded our telescopes, creating a window during which neither SWAN nor Atlas could be directly observed. As a result, their closest approach to the sun, and to each other, would happen at precisely the moment when Earth's instruments were unable to see them. To many, this looked less like coincidence and more like coordination, as if their paths had been deliberately engineered to meet under the cover of solar interference. Think about that. 2 anomalies arriving together, timing their rendezvous to the one place and time we could not watch. In orbital dynamics, astronomers describe such a region as a corridor, a narrow window of space and time where 2 objects align in a way that appears extraordinarily unlikely. And this corridor, whether by chance or by design, forced the scientific community to confront a possibility it had long avoided. What if these objects were not simply passing through, but converging for a purpose? While orbital mechanics raised questions, the energy data raised even greater alarms. Atlas had already shocked researchers with bursts of acceleration that appeared to mimic thruster-like maneuvers, with each pulse supposedly requiring an enormous amount of energy to explain. But SWAN made even that look trivial because its implied energy levels were described as being on the order of 10,000 gigawatts, far more than the entire power grid of Earth. No natural comet nucleus could supposedly produce such raw output. Its reflective metals, persistent halo, and rhythmic pulses were interpreted not as ordinary outgassing, but as possible signs of control, like a machine using plasma bursts to steer itself. The idea of engineered propulsion, once dismissed as science fiction, was now portrayed as quietly circulating among astronomers who could no longer ignore the numbers. And then there was the timing of the pulses themselves. They appeared regular enough to resemble a signal, patterned enough to hint at communication, and consistent enough that some began calling Swan not a fortress, but a beacon. If Atlas was a drone maneuvering and adjusting its course, then Swan might be the mothership, a colossal structure designed to survive millennia in space, arriving not by chance, but according to a cycle. With an orbital period of more than 22,000 years, Swan could have passed this way long before recorded history, perhaps even during the last ice age, leaving traces that our ancestors might have remembered as myths, carvings, or warnings. And now it was back, aligned once more with another anomaly, as if reminding us that we might not be the only intelligence shaping the sky. Just when the world's curiosity reached its peak, silence descended,